Coming up, Pirates of the Caribbean will be seeing some big changes. Siemens and Disney have broken up, and speculation on This is the Diz Unplugged, episode 946 for the week of July 11th, 2017. The Diz Unplugged is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan the perfect Disney vacation. Visit them on the web at www.dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the Diz Unplugged. I am your host today, Craig Williams, filling in for Pete Werner, who is currently out in sunny California on an Adventures by Disney backstage magic trip that will lead into D23. So, yeah, he's not here. I'm here instead. Deal with it. Suffer. And joining me today is a whole bunch of fun people. So we'll start with Mr. Steve Porter.
Hello.
And then also Kathy Whirling.
Hi, everybody.
Hello. And then Julie Martin.
Hey, y'all.
And then back on the controls, Mr. Rhino Clavin.
Hello.
Hello. And then me again. So I should also mention that it's not just Pete on that trip. It is also John and Kevin. Yeah, so we are very short-staffed. But you know what? It'll be a fun one, I think, to say the least. So, what do we have to go over? Well, let's start by saying, for the fourth time, I think, this episode, all of them by me, this week is the D23 Expo. So a lot of people from our team will be out and about. So I believe I will be there. Pete, Corey, Steve, Rhino, I've already lost place, Tom Bell, Michael Bowling, Will Perry, and Jackie Gailey. So that will be our big team that will all be out there. We will have a booth in the on the expo floor. So a lot of times you'll see us recording in there, having fun and games and going out live with some of the breaking information that we find out. So if you're walking around and you see us doing that, stop by. Feel free to watch if you can hear us saying anything at all. It's very loud in there, so I doubt you will. Yeah, no, definitely come say hi to us as much as possible. I know everyone's going to be crazy running around, so we'd love to meet as many people as possible. But also, along with that too, if you are at home, you're not going to be out there for it, please make sure you watch along with everything that we will be going out with. So make sure you're constantly watching your YouTube updates, because we'll have probably 2 live shows a day going out. We'll be doing a lot of stuff on Facebook Live around the expo floor and such. So stay glued to your social media. We'll even be giving away some prizes, I think. So I don't know if I'm allowed to disclose what prizes we are giving away. So
I
I'm not
saw the
gonna say
banner.
anything. Oh, you saw the banner? No. Okay. Well, Julie knows, but I don't know the exact details, so I'm not going to screw it up and say the wrong thing. But we will be giving something big away, so make sure you are following along with us. And yeah. That is everything I have to say regarding the D23 Expo. So does anyone else have any housekeeping while I pull up the list of shows and everything that we have going on?
No?
I can if you want.
Sure.
Is that what you were hoping for?
Why not?
Well, it's not really housekeeping, but I was just going to mention Patreon. There was a bunch of videos that we did up there. And as Craig's saying, we're going out to California to D23. So if you are one of the supporters, stay tuned, because I might do some daily updates on there as well as on our YouTube channel as well. Everybody will get a little bit of something while we're gone, of course, because we are narcissistic and cannot, I don't know if I added too many S's into that, I cannot not be recording ourselves, because that's just who we are, full of ourselves. Is that enough?
That is plenty of enough. So I am all queued up. So this next bit of housekeeping comes from Tom Bell out in California. And Tom writes, today Give Kids the World announced that it's adding another park to its 2017 Coasting for Kids fundraiser schedule. On September 9th, Coasting for Kids will come to Busch Gardens, Williamsburg in Virginia. So this is in addition to the previously announced event at the Quasi Amusement Park in Connecticut on August 16th and Frontier City in Oklahoma on September 16th. So to participate in the fundraiser, register at coastingforkids.org and choose the Diz team, then raise at least $100 to get free admission to the park and an hour of exclusive ride time on some of the park's most popular coasters. He said this isn't public yet, but should be by the time of the show. He got permission to announce it anyway, so it's not really a big deal. So yeah, Coasting for the Kids, awesome event, roller coasters, raising money for Give Kids the World. If you're around any of those parks, definitely raise some money, try to participate. Could be a fun time, or it might not be. That's just that. So let's move on to this week's shows. Besides this one happening live right now. So every Monday, well, technically Sunday night when it's live on Mixler at 10 o'clock Pacific time, you can start to listen to the Disneyland edition of the Diz Unplugged, then available on Mondays on iTunes. And on this week's Disneyland show, the team answered listener questions about Disneyland, the D23 Expo, and so much more. So you can find that right now at disunplugged.com and iTunes. And then also on Mondays, released at youtube.com/Dreams Unlimited Travel and iTunes and all that, the Dreams Unlimited Travel show. So on this week's show, I believe they talked about the current discounts that are out and available for you, whether it's Disney, Universal, Disney Cruise Line, Disneyland, even some like Viking cruises, other stuff, lots of discounts available. So go watch that show. And then coming up next week, they will be doing a show on the construction pit that is Caribbean Beach. So it's that's a fun one to watch for. Then on Wednesdays, we have the best and worst of Walt Disney World. Rhino, what's on that one this week?
I believe it's the best gadgets for your vacation.
Yeah,
That sounds right.
Yeah, I that might not be the exact title, but it is a pretty interesting. It was an episode that is about what I just said.
Gadgets that make your trip easier.
No, that's not what we called it.
I know, but that's what it's about.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's getting a
Okay.
better synopsis.
I get you. There you go. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, and also going along with that, I do have to announce that the Best and Worst show will be moving on to its own feed on iTunes. So starting in today's show notes page, I will have the link to the new iTunes feed for Best and Worst. So I'll probably give it about like one more week where I post the old show to the Diz Unplugged feed. Then after that, it's going to be gone. If you want to listen to that show, you'll have to sign up on the new feed and just do it because I told you. And that should be good enough. Mm-hmm. Moving on, this Thursday on the Universal edition of the Diz Unplugged, Rhino and I give you 8 amazing reasons on why you should go visit Universal Studios Hollywood in California. So there are some fun things on that list.
8 fun things, in
8
fact.
fun, yeah. 8 to be precise, if I do say so myself. So yeah, you can check that out Friday, disunplugged.com, youtube.com/disunplugged. Rhino, Dispop this week. What's going on Fridays?
Well, I know last week I did the my thoughts and opinions and give a little review on Spider-Man Homecoming, but some people asked to do another review that included spoilers, and it included Craig as well. So we actually got a little more into the nitty-gritty of the movie this time around and had a pretty good discussion about it. So that'll go up this Friday. So this is one I wouldn't watch unless you've seen the movie now, though, because we do spoiler heavy, and Craig starts right away with the first spoiler right away.
Oh, you know how I do.
In. Yeah.
So that's just me. That's the way I live. So also on Fridays, it's July, so that means Connecting with Walt is currently back, audio only, of course. So the first show of July actually released last Friday, but we didn't have a show last week to really promote it, so I apologize for that. But in that episode, Michael Bowling and I examined the story of Mickey Mouse's creation and how it evolved into the story that we do know today. So that is out and available definitely download that and listen to it. It's a good one. And this coming Friday, we will be at the D23 Expo, of course. And that's right next door to Disneyland. So we will be talking about an unbuilt land for Disneyland called Discovery Bay. So if you know anything about that, it was Tony Baxter's basically land baby that never came to be. And it's very interesting. Haven't recorded that yet, but I'm sure it'll be a fun one once we do. So you can find that this Friday. And that is it for the shows. I know there's no other housekeeping because I already asked about it earlier. Unless anything's come up in that time. Nope. Going once, going twice.
Are you going to see Despicable Me 3, Rhino?
Yes, I want to so bad.
Because it's Universal, right?
I know. Yeah, it is. And I was going to do a review of it, but then I felt bad because Eli wasn't here and he loves those movies. And then
Oh my God.
Eli hasn't gone with me yet.
Well, we
So I'm
already
like,
saw it.
Did you love it?
Oh, I love all those movies. I think they're super cute. Minions was just okay for me, but 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good to know. Good to know. That'll be in an episode in the future. Sorry.
There you go. So look for that.
Curious.
It's a good, curious question that was asked and answered. So why don't we wrap that up and let's move on to the news read today by none other than Mac and Cheese himself.
All right, bear with me because I'm not the best at reading the news, but all
He
right.
needs glasses and won't get them.
I do need glasses. Siemens is ending their sponsorship with the Disney parks. Siemens has been a corporate sponsor of the Disney parks for the last 12 years, and it looks like that partnership is about to come to an end. Siemens sponsors Illuminations and Spaceship Earth at Epcot, and It's a Small World in Disneyland. You might also remember that they sponsored the Osborne family spectacle of dancing lights via Sylvania, one of the parent company, or the underlings, I guess, of Siemens is their parent company. According to the Orlando Sentinel, Disney said in a statement, "We appreciate their collaboration, helping create unforgettable memories for our guests at Walt Disney World and Disneyland over the last 12 years. Siemens and the Walt Disney Company have enjoyed an exciting marketing and technology alliance that has brought tremendous visibility to the Siemens brand and joy to its employees," Siemens said in a statement. The Siemens Disney sponsorship has evolved with the company's changing portfolio since 2005 and has exceeded expectations. There already has been a lot of speculation online about what might happen at Epcot, considering recent permits that have been filed. This information about Siemens leaves big questions now as to what possibly could be for the future at Epcot.
It absolutely does. No, it's pretty massive. I think the one thing that we know for sure is that something's going to happen with Illuminations down the road. There's been, rumors for years and years and years that Illuminations was going to get a shakeup anyways. The park's about to celebrate the 35th anniversary.
It seems like they do less and less of these, outsourced sponsorships in the last couple of years, it seems like to me. I don't know if that's true or if it's just less advertised than maybe it used to be.
I wouldn't say it's less advertised. I think it was a bigger component back in the day.
Yeah.
That a lot of, especially going back to when Disneyland was first created, the park was very expensive to build, and to do all the attractions and stuff, they needed corporate sponsors to chip in money, and then that goes through the 64 World's Fair, where essentially they got the sponsors to build Small World, Carousel of Progress, all that, and then at the end of it, they got to move those attractions to their park, and so then it just kept going from there with Epcot and thereafter. So the sponsors are still there, not as many as there used to be, but.
Like when they Lights Motors Action, 2005 that came out, that had Lights Motors Action, then presented by Brawny, was on the marquee in the front. And then I remember when Rock and Roller Coaster switched from something, and now it's presented by Haynes, I think. Yeah. And that
because it makes sense.
That's something. Yeah, I know. And you're like, okay, but. It's one of those, I don't notice it in the marquees quite as much anymore. Or I guess there hasn't been a ton of attractions to come out since then.
Yeah, when it's not in the marquee, it's not really sponsored by anything. So I guess Disney's has to fully cover the costs in terms of operating, updating, all that. When you have a sponsor, I'm sure they work out a deal where they spend so much money every so many years in order to upgrade the rides, update them. So,
But do you think, when I saw that, and with all the stuff that's going to happen at D23 and Epcot is rumored to have a lot of stuff being done, do you think it was Siemens who ended their sponsorship, or do you think it was Disney saying, hey, look, we're going to go in a different direction?
I think it was Siemens. Why would they, to their shareholders, say, "Oh, we dropped people that were giving us money"? I feel like that's a bad
Because
business
maybe
move.
whatever their plan was, Siemens went, I don't like that.
Well,
and if you want to continue to be a sponsor, you need to give us.
Yeah, it could have been something like that where they didn't agree to some sort of agreement. But I feel like Disney wouldn't deny the money. Is my point. Like they wouldn't say we don't want you anymore.
There was this rumor that, and we talked about it when we talked about the piece of the monorail that fell, that Siemens had offered to provide all new trains.
Yeah.
But part of that deal was they wanted the name on the train, and Disney said no. And so if there is any truth to that, then maybe it is Disney doesn't want other names that aren't Disney in the park anymore as much. It's just one of those, like, I'm just curious, has like the acquisition of like Marvel and Star Wars and the success of these films, I know they haven't, Marvel's probably paid for itself by now, for sure. But Star Wars maybe not, hasn't, well, maybe. Because it was like a $4 billion purchase, and the movie makes so much, I'm curious,
I'm wondering if some of these corporations kind of have word that there are big changes coming to Epcot, and they're saying, well, why are we keeping our names on attractions that are probably going to be dying soon? Maybe that's some of the idea
that
of
could
like,
be.
we don't want to put our name on. So like, for example, Universe of Energy doesn't have a sponsor anymore. It used to be ExxonMobil, and then I think it was another.
ExxonMobil.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
yeah. And then it was another oil company. So I think that they kind of saw like, well, this attraction is kind of not a fan favorite anymore. Let's take our name off of that because it makes us look bad almost.
I mean, in terms of with Siemens, I'm sure the contract was about, I mean, it's been what,
12 years.
12 years. So, the contract is probably already, if it was like a 10-year contract, maybe it expired once and they renewed it for a while, and then it's coming up again and they just decided that they don't want to be a part of it anymore. Maybe what they want to invest in doesn't really align with what Disney wants to do.
Yeah.
Maybe they want upgrades made to Spaceship Earth, and Disney isn't really interested in that, and it's not aligning. Either way, Spaceship Earth itself will probably go through another refurb at some point in time, and we're going to see changes with it, but at the core it's probably still going to remain the same. But Illuminations, that is something that's going to definitely change at some point. So I don't think it's that big of a deal that Siemens is dropping out, because Disney just fine finding sponsors for fireworks, whether it's Happily Ever After sponsored by Pandora, or right now with Illuminations when it was with Siemens. So regardless, they'll figure out
Is
a way
Happily
to
Ever
make it
After
work.
sponsored by Pandora?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's
Not
cool.
not the radio, the band Beads.
Well, I thought the blue people, but it's fine.
It's fine. No, it's not. It's not sponsored by the Navi.
Yeah.
But okay, why don't we move on to our next story, because that's a fun one.
Yeah, this is a big one. Massive changes coming to Pirates of the Caribbean in the Magic Kingdom and Disneyland Park. A recent Disney Parks blog article about changes coming to Pirates of the Caribbean in Disneyland Paris also mentioned changes to Pirates of the Caribbean in Disneyland Park and the Magic Kingdom. Artist renderings show massive changes to the iconic auction scene. Instead of the pirates auctioning off women, like we want the redhead or whatever, it looks like the town people will be forced to auction off a grandfather clock, a picture frame, goats, among other things. This massive change to the auction scene furthers Disney's choice to make the attraction more family-friendly. Past modifications to the attraction include making the women chase the pirates rather than the suggestiveness of pirates chasing the women. These changes upset some, including Disney Imagineers like Francis Xavier Atencio. I'm pronouncing that correctly. In the book, Pirates of the Caribbean, From the Magic Kingdom to the Movies, Atencio said that these changes soften the attraction, even referring to the changes as making the attraction into the Boy Scouts of the Caribbean. A recent petition has been created to save the auction scene, and actually reached the ninth most popular petition on change.org last week, and it now has over 36,000 signatures. So it's clear that some Disney fans are extremely upset with the expected change.
Who wants to jump in first?
I do have something to say about it, but I'm trying to find the message in regards to it. So, not me.
I'd like to hear the opinion of one of the ladies.
Well, when I first heard it on their, I was upset that they were changing something that's like part of Disney history. But then the feminist side of me said, why does the redhead, have to be auctioned off? I'm glad now she's a pirate and she has some, that for me tells a better story. Not that my grandchildren have ever done that, but I feel more comfortable saying now that, she's not being auctioned off. But I think it's sad. That to me ranks in the same place as when they said, drag your wretched bodies into the center of the room at Haunted Mansion. It's like that little bit of an edge that sort of made it different. Now it's sort of like, are we trying to appeal to everybody? You can't please everybody all the time.
No, you can't please everyone all the time. But I don't have a problem with it going away, but mostly because, young girls are sold every day into the sex trade in this country. That bothers me a great deal. So I think that this is a good thing, but this is going away. Not to get like too, political about it, but I'm glad it's going away. I know that's not the popular opinion.
No, well, so my knee-jerk reaction was like, oh God, okay, it's revisionist history. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But then, that was my immediate response. But then I thought about it for a second because, it is supposed to be pirates, but it is, there's also like nobody's getting throat slit or anything like that on this attraction ever. And then I had a friend, Chris Larson, who worked at Disney for many years, and that's what I was trying to look for. He had a message. He wrote a story about. His reaction was similar, but he never thought about it this way until he was a coordinator outside of Pirates. And one day a girl came up to him and she was crying, like in tears about this scene. And she didn't understand why this scene existed there and everything like that. And so he saw how this scene had impacted something, a scene that he didn't think twice about, I mean, there is that like, I wish, it is hard because you let go of an original, I forget the name of the guy who's the voice who says we want the redhead. Like it's Paul something maybe, I don't know.
Paul Frees.
Is that who it is?
If that's who did it, yeah, it's Paul Frees.
Oh, well, it's just like I wish it was altered in maybe a way where it flipped the gender role around or something like that. I'm not against her being a pirate. Like I'm glad the redhead's not going away because I do think the redhead is part of the iconic thing, and I think it is nice to give women power. And like, so what? It's not. Maybe that's not how it was in history. Maybe it is. In all the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, there's strong women characters in those movies. So I have, I was always happy that they represented it that way, and I agree with you 100%, Julie, about that. There is a current day issue that this is insensitive to, like that has existed
and it's
since
all
then.
over the world. It's not just here; it's everywhere.
Exactly.
And it's just one of the things that I feel strongly about. So
I'm sure they'll do it right. You know what I mean? Either way, it'll be nice to just see kind of a little bit of a facelift, I guess, to this attraction. It's not.
As long as they don't take away the pigs. That are sleeping with the pirate, I'm good.
Yeah.
No, for me, I was the same way as Rhino. At first, it was like, how can they do that? Because it's an iconic scene. Then again, it used to be where Barbossa is now on the ship. That used to also be a very iconic moment that then got switched out.
What was it?
So it was another captain, but I mean, it was something that everyone recognized. It was a very unique pirate on there with the black beard and the red jacket. You knew that. And then kick him out for Barbossa. That was kind of a big blow. So it kind of felt like that way again. But I think it's also because, it's not so much the scene itself, but everyone that knows pirates knows we wants the redhead. Like that's... Mm-hmm. The line is almost more iconic than the scene itself. So that's where I think it's a struggle at first. But it really, if you look at even the Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl, and other ones in there, eventually Elizabeth Swann becomes a strong pirate.
Well, Zoe
Saldana
yeah.
in the first one, Penelope Cruz. So
Yeah.
the movies do have strong female characters that are involved in piracy. So really, if the ride has become a blend of the movies and what it once was, then really they should be representing that side too. So
It would have been nice if there was a way to keep that line in. Like, what if we made the captain a redhead as well? Or we, like I said, the gender role. Like, if there was just,
Well,
or
maybe there
maybe
is.
they want
We
to be
don't-
a captain. Maybe
Yeah.
they want her to be the captain.
Yeah.
We wants the redhead as the captain. But and you're right, we don't know yet either. That's the thing. We've seen concept art, but we don't know exactly what's going to be. But it's just one of those, like, I think everybody who's really up in arms about it needs to take a breath and just look at both options and then
It's
see how
only
they feel on the other
36,000
side.
people.
Right, yeah. Right.
I mean, when you think about the millions of people that visit Walt Disney
Right,
World.
exactly.
I think we all kind of had the same reaction where, like, originally you're like, oh no, like, we're losing an iconic scene, but then you realize why. My only problem with it is that I feel like changing it to be just a different type of auction scene seems weird. Like, I feel like it should be a more piratey so
Right.
Yeah.
Rip down
Don't
the
make it-
auction. Just have them bringing out their goods to give you because you're going to kill them.
Yeah, you're stealing from them, and maybe there's like girl pirates that are stealing from them or whatever. It's not about that. It's just like now I feel like now it's just an auction. It just seems too fun and not piratey anymore. So I don't know. That was my only little qualm.
Guess we'll find out.
yeah, we will find out. So who knows? Maybe they'll decide to just rip Johnny Depp out of it too while they're there.
Well,
I mean,
let's not go into that stuff.
yeah, we're not going there, but who knows? We'll see what happens. But let's move on to the final news story.
All right. Captain's Grill to have major concept reimagining will become Ale and Compass Restaurant. Back in May, we told you about the market at Ale and Compass opening at Disney's Yacht Club Resort. This is the first major step in the reimagining of the dining options at the nautical-themed resort. This reimagining also includes a reimagined lobby lounge, and a new concept for the former Captain's Grill. A brand new Ale and Compass concept will make its debut in October when the lobby lounge is reconstructed with not only a new interior, but guests should be happy to hear that there'll be an expanded to 58 seats and will offer a new menu of classic cocktails and light bites. The biggest change to the nearby Captain's Grill, which will become the Ale and Compass Restaurant. The Ale and Compass Restaurant's menu is still in the works, but the reimagined restaurant will have a pub-like ambiance with New England-inspired comfort foods open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. An onstage hearth oven is the focal point. Decor is inspired by the cozy warmth of
Hearth.
a light.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Cozy
It's a
warmth.
Sorry, I couldn't let that slide.
Decor is inspired by the cozy warmth of a lighthouse as comforting respite from the outside world.
I'm
This is
excited.
a
I
good
was gonna
change.
let it slide.
It's a good change for sure.
Yeah.
Because that lobby lounge is like this big, first
Yeah.
of all. I mean, it's like you're in a closet. So if there are more than 10 people, it's super
Oh yeah,
crowded.
and I'm actually more excited for the lobby lounge than the reimagined Captain's Grill.
No,
But
I-
that needed it.
I wanted-
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I've eaten there. It's so
Yeah.
outdated.
And there's
it's
like no style to it.
Yeah, no. It's like, seriously, no offense to people who like this place, but it's like you're eating at a Golden Corral.
It-
I mean,
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like no ambiance whatsoever.
I'm excited for the New England. I mean, being from New England, like I'm excited to see what that comfort food is they're referring to. So, but we had a restaurant called the Hearth and Kettle that was in downtown Plymouth, and like it, I'm just like, oh, if they can bring a little touch of home down here, I think that would be cool. And like Greg said, that lounge sounds really neat too, really interesting. Anything that starts incorporating those like classic cocktails, and like, I like it. It makes me excited because it says we're going to take an attention to detail and we're going to take time with the product. So it's not just something out of a machine, and that makes me happy.
Well, that's it for me. I am sure the new Ale and Compass will be a delicious restaurant. I'm sure that it'll look beautiful inside, and the change to the menu is going to be well worth it. But for me, I find myself spending more time at lobby lounges and stuff lately. because they have really, not because of just the drinks. That is a big reason. Let's be honest.
It's the gentleman of the night as well.
It's not just because of the drinks. A lot of it is because they're also pairing it with really good small plates, appetizers, just little bites. So it goes along with, like, if I have the chance to go up to California Grill, I like it, but usually I'd prefer just sitting at the bar and ordering a couple appetizers than going and sitting down and having a full meal. Not even sitting at the bar, just sitting in a little lounge area. Like, I love the Territory Lounge over at Wilderness Lodge.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's great to go into Artist Point, but Territory Lounge has a great menu and good drinks as well, too. So the Yacht Club has always been kind of missing that, along with the beach club too, where you were there. It almost made more sense to just walk around and go to the boardwalk or over to the Swan and Dolphin and hit up Blue Zoo, or depending on how crazy you are, go to Kimonos and do a little karaoke. So I think it will be a nice change. I love the Yacht Club. I'm in the minority.
Yeah.
Most people prefer the beach club, but
No, I like the Yacht Club better.
it's classier
Yeah.
to me. Where the beach club is lots of kids and noise and
Too much beach.
Nothing
too
says
much beach.
class like yachts.
it's the
true.
classiest.
That's what I'm saying. You got the
Yeah.
sand or you got the ship. Get on the ship, get out of the sand.
Okay, then.
Okay.
I think
Rhino's trying to invent his own tagline.
I mean, it's a good one.
My mother now. She does that all the time. You got to captain your own ship, Ryan. All right, Mom. That's enough.
I can't follow that. So, I guess that's going to do it for the news. So we are going to move right along into rapid fire, unless Steve wants to run to a park real quick. No. Okay, no, we'll go to rapid fire, I guess, and we'll start with no one other than Steve himself.
All right.
Take it away.
All you care to enjoy mimosas are now available at The Wave in Disney's Contemporary Resort, located on the ground floor, obviously. They're now offering, I'm just reading this again. They're now offering all you care to enjoy mimosas for their breakfast menu for $16. This new edition is available during the restaurant's breakfast hours, which are from 7:30 a.m. till 11 a.m.
It's really not that bad because around town, it's like I've been to some places where it's like $12. So you add in that Disney
Okay, but I'm
increase in
thinking, like,
pricing.
how many mimosas can one person actually drink?
Oh, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan.
I actually
How are you going to captain your own ship drinking all those mimosas?
It's a bad saying.
How much were the mimosas that time we did the breakfast up at the Contemporary? Remember, we paid.
Oh, we thought they were free and we just
Yeah.
kept
That was the
drinking them.
Bloody Marys, not the mimosas.
Oh.
No, there
But
was
they-
a mimosa. They gave us
They
a
gave us
mimosa too.
mimosas.
Yeah, and that's the thing is Kathy and I drank them and they were like, "You got to pay for those."
Yeah.
We're like,
Whoops.
Yeah, no, I'm all for mimosas. I can only drink like one, to answer Julie's question.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing.
it's-
No
'cause
more than two.
I
I
like
could
juice.
do like 4, but then you're gonna get vitamin C poisoning down
Yeah.
the road, so you got to be careful.
I like juice, and I like a little bubbly every now and then, but you can only have so much.
Orange juice.
Yeah,
It depends on the balance. It depends on the balance, and my guess is these are
There
going to be a
needs
lot of
to
orange
be
juice.
more bubble.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know. I saw in the comments of this article, because it actually come out like the morning after that it was actually at the Contemporary, and someone said that they just enjoyed 5 the day before, and they said they were heavy on the alcohol. So
Woo,
Were they
didn't walk out
typing
of
it?
there.
Yeah, I was going to say, were there a lot of misspellings? in the comments? The grammar made no sense.
Now, I know Rhino and I, at some point in time,
I was just gonna
probably
say.
bring Kylie along too. Maybe Steve. Maybe.
Yeah, well, we need a designated driver, so obviously Steve.
what?
Just kidding.
We'll bring Michaela as the designated driver. And we'll go try out those mimosas. It's a fun little.
Yeah, well, I've never had breakfast over there. My thing right now. I know this is stupid, but like I've noticed that So I always talk about I like the creative food options that Disney has. Is that I feel like there's this missing spot for like a really good breakfast that does something unique, and so it seems like maybe they're on to that. So they're adding this mimosa thing, but then I'd like to start exploring like what are your breakfast options around Disney World that aren't just boring, you know?
I will say the Wave gets a lot of crap, but the Wave is a great alternative if you don't want to pay for parking. Because you go and you can get breakfast there and you can park for free at the Contemporary and then you can walk over to the Magic Kingdom. So if you take that out of the cost of having to park at the TTC of
$20 now?
$20.
Yeah.
So it's $20 out of the cost of, if you think about it that way.
So $16 mimosas.
legal?
How
$20
dare you say
parking.
that? How dare you say that? You are supposed to leave the parking lot as soon as you're finished
Yes.
with your meal, drive over to the TTC, and park there as well.
After you have had your unlimited mimosas. You know Disney rules.
Be responsible, Steve. Come on. Okay, Kathy, what do we got?
Okay. Well, we had announced, or Disney had announced, that there was going to be a temporary location for the first aid station, but they canceled that.
Oh.
So,
Oops, I screwed up that slide.
so they've not put it back on the books. So I guess the moral of the story is look at our rehab list before you go, because things can change all the time.
And you never know when you're going to get stung by a bee at the TTC and need to go to
Yes.
first aid immediately when you get to the park. It stung me right in the side of my head.
Ooh.
Oh.
Nobody could tell me where the first. I almost
So
said a bad
how
word.
much
where the
bigger
first
did your
was.
head get?
Unreal.
Are you allergic to bees, though, in all seriousness?
No, thank
Oh,
God
okay.
I wasn't, because it was literally there is no first aid at TTC. I was
I
like, this
know,
bee
yeah.
just stung me twice in the side of my head, and it started to hurt really bad. And they were like, well, you got to get on the ferry. And I was like, I'll be dead by the end of the ferry.
You could have texted Katie.
No,
she would have
okay.
come out and done
should've.
something for
Seriously,
you.
next time you just start screaming, I need a smoker, and you get a cigarette because the tobacco will help to pull out the sting.
Oh, really?
I learned this when I was little. Yeah.
Oh, it'll be like my childhood all over again. Just put the cigarette out on the side of my head. I'm just kidding. It never happened to me.
Not a
Well,
lit
this has just
one.
gotten away from me.
You just cut open the cigarette and use the tobacco inside.
Oh.
So you may have to pay them for the cigarette. Aren't they expensive? But
I don't smoke.
there might be someone willing to save your life. You never know.
Okay.
It's true. It
Life
works.
lesson. I believe you. I know you
Grew up in a small
learned all
town,
that
people.
voodoo back in
Oh, yeah.
down in the bayou.
Voodoo.
The voodoo in the bayou.
You better
isn't
look
it?
out. I might be buying a doll with your name on it.
I wouldn't put that past you. Why don't we move on to you?
So, Morimoto Asia at Disney Springs has announced it's having an inaugural craft beers and bites festival. Okay. First of all, we had a discussion earlier about what the term festival means. And this is going to be on the second level of the restaurant, which is called The Landing. I don't understand how you can have a festival on the second level of this restaurant. Where are the booths going to be? Where is the music going to be? But anyway, so it's going to be on my birthday, July 29th, from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. It's $49.80 for 3 hours. I think this is a little steep. You have to be 21 years old, obviously, to drink. Unlimited beer and bites with 100% of the profits benefiting the Children's Home Society of Florida. Okay, now I know why it's expensive. So it's for a good cause. They're going to feature Crooked Can Brewing Company with Peking duck tacos, right? Peking.
Yeah.
Coppertail Brewing Company with Morimoto sticky ribs.
Sounds good.
Red Light Brewery, sushi hand roll, so spicy
All my favorite
hamachi and
places.
spicy tuna. Cask and Larder, they'll feature a cashew pork quesadilla. Bowigan's
Yeah.
beer company. I knew he would know.
Yeah.
They're going to have
Castleberry.
churros with Nutella, and 2 Henry's Brewing Company with a poke bowl.
Oh.
Hourglass Brewing with okonomiyaki, which is a seafood pancake. And then the Red Cypress Brewery. And they're going to feature yakitori, beef with ginger miso paste. You can purchase tickets by clicking here. Shut up, Greg. No, there's a link on the page. So, and they are limited. So if you're interested, you need to get your tickets now. Don't wait.
It's kind of cool that it's 100% of the proceeds
That's
go
really
to that
cool.
too.
Yeah.
Like usually it's like a percentage. Like,
Right.
So that's really
so
nice.
100% benefiting the Children's Home Society of Florida. So it's going to benefit the children. That's awesome. And if you like beer, it's right up your alley.
Well, that Peking
Yeah.
duck, is that their signature duck?
It's a taco.
I just dragged out.
That's the one you see roasting, isn't it?
Yeah. I think
When you're
so,
eating
right?
there?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have the ducks in the window.
Yeah.
Um,
It's quite disgusting.
yeah, but okay, to go back though to the beer aspect of it, all you can drink. The breweries that they chose to pair with here, they are all semi-local. So, Bogans is up in Castleberry, Two Henrys is out in Lakeland on the way to Tampa.
Okay.
Coppertail is in Tampa. These are all like my favorite breweries, the places that I go and bounce around to. Well,
You should go celebrate my birthday there.
I actually am going to be there, so I will not be celebrating your birthday per se, but it will be in the back of my mind knowing that you're not there. But
yeah, because I don't really care for beer. This is not up my alley at all.
yeah, and it's not, it's not for everyone, but for people who always ask us, like when they come here, well, if I should go off property and go try beer somewhere at a brewery, if instead of going to the brewery, if you want a good chance to try Florida beers without having to drive around, this is actually a really good way to do it. And then especially since it's all you can drink, if you find one you really like, just stick with that.
It's
for the rest
also
of the
all you
time.
can eat, and those ribs are. I don't
Oh.
like meat on the bone, but this is like that stuff. That is the best. Like those ribs and that duck are, they're good.
Oh, I agree.
Corey would be eating his weight in poke bowls.
That's what I thought when I saw that. I was like, well, all you can eat. That's dangerous. If Corey Martin goes, they're never
won't be
going to use
there.
that phrase again.
I
That's
will.
true. You better not be.
I will be a straight up glutton that day, and I'm proud of it. So thank you, Julie.
Oh, you're welcome, Craig.
Excellent. Rhino?
Okay, so there's a brand new restaurant, and it's not really brand new. It's the retheming of the old name for this. I cannot remember. Portobello. It's the place that I talked about on the show where I did the cooking class a while back, and it was an awesome cooking class. But then immediately after that, it closed. So it's going to become the Italian. Oh, sorry. It's going to be called the. Does anyone know how to say this?
Terralina?
Terralina
or Terralina?
Terralina.
Oh, it's
I would say Terralina.
Terralina.
Italian.
Terralina Crafted Italian, owned by Levy Restaurants, will be opening this fall in the space of the former Italian restaurant. Chef Tony Mantuano will return, which he was the nice guy who did the cooking class. He was very, very personal, very nice. And he's going to curate the new menu, and Chef Justin Plank will be returning to run the kitchen. This multi-million-dollar makeover is transforming the space in the landing on the shores of Lake Buena Vista. It's inspired by the design and lifestyle of Italy's Lake District. The new restaurant will be reminiscent of an Italian home with an open kitchen, dining rooms, and eclectic decor, and a new veranda bar outside the main entrance. The new menu will include artisanal pizzas and fresh vegetable dishes from a wood-burning oven, and I guess favorites from Portobello, like the antipasti platter and signature pastas, will return as well. But focusing on the, how did you pronounce this, Steve? Hearth? The hearth kitchen dishes will embody the passion and flair of the flames. But it'll be open for both lunch and dinner. From the looks of the photo, it doesn't look like it's a massive redesign of this restaurant. I think it's just kind of like, I think it's just being altered to be a little more family style.
I think it's going to be a lot bigger than we did. I mean, they just got done redoing doing Boathouse, so because that's also Levy's, right? Is it?
They redid
Levy's?
Boathouse?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
one.
they both Boathouse and Portobello are now Terralina. Those are owned by the same company.
Oh, okay.
So it's I think that they're going to put the same care into redoing Portobello to definitely transform it, make it a brand new, fresh experience.
It needs it.
It needs it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really needs it.
I'm excited for that bar on the water because I know we keep talking about bars in this episode, but when you're just friends are in town and you just want to like I cannot say enough how nice Disney Springs is at night. And like the boathouse built that bar that's back on the dock, and then it's got a walkway where there's like seating out there over the water. Like if this is just more seating on the water, that's
You can't beat seats on the water right now.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
get you.
Right.
Whether it's
Yeah.
a bar, a restaurant, whatever, everyone likes to be on the water.
Plus, I like all these new bars because it's an alternative to somebody like me who does not make dining reservations ever. Because usually you can sit at the bar and order a full menu, and even if you can't, it's the tapas and stuff. At least it's a nice like to know that you're not being excluded from that place because you don't plan ahead because you're irresponsible, like me.
Well, this has just been great.
I'm excited.
No, it's lots of water talk, yachting, lounges.
We are fancy. We be
Yeah.
fancy.
Yes, we are. So that is going to do it for Rapid Fire. So let's move on to our last little bit, and that is talking about D23 Expo. So specifically, let's talk about some of the rumors in terms of Disney parks because, well, this is a Disney park show. So why would we talk about anything else? And we'll start off with some of the speculation for what we may see here in Walt Disney World. And why don't we just go right off the bat and talk about what's on everyone's mind yesterday because of a poorly titled article that went out. Tron coming to Tomorrowland.
Wow.
Thank
William
you.
Shatner.
I was doing my best space style speaking there. So Tron coming to knock out the Speedway and be in Tomorrowland. Is it something that we think is all but confirmed? Are we
don't know.
excited for it?
I would be extremely excited for it if it actually comes to Tomorrowland because I worked at Tomorrowland and I think it needs an update very badly and this would help. There's just a couple weird things with it. Like the location would put basically two of Magic Kingdom's largest coasters right next to each other, which would just kind of be odd in my opinion, placement-wise in the park. And it doesn't really fit with the old the theming of Tomorrowland right now. And I feel like it would cause it'd be like disjointed in a way of
You mean like they need to update the rest of Tomorrowland so that
to catch up with what the Tron ride would look like. And so there's lots of problems I could see them putting this in there. It would cause a lot of construction, I think, throughout that land.
Oh yeah, no,
But-
it would stick out like a sore thumb if it was put in current Tomorrowland. I personally don't believe it. Unless they completely redo Tomorrowland, I don't think it has a place in terms of Tomorrowland. It doesn't fit for me, and you're taking away. It's
Where
not.
am I supposed to take Ferris and Finley to teach him how to drive?
Well, that's what I was gonna. I wasn't. It's not necessarily a high capacity attraction, but it is a popular attraction nonetheless, and it is very family friendly.
Mm-hmm.
I know, do we need more thrill rides in the Magic Kingdom?
Personally, I don't care about Tron. I didn't see the movie. I will never see the movie. It doesn't interest me. I like the Tomorrowland Speedway. I enjoy taking Ferris and Finley on it, especially now that they can, be behind the wheel and they can't hurt anybody.
Right.
It's not exactly fun to ride with them driving, but it is, like the going back and forth, bonk,
Yeah.
bonk, bonk.
I was going to say, I saw something too that said with the way they would have to put it in there was a chance that the people mover would be a casualty.
Then forget
And yeah, I mean, I don't really care what goes if Tron replaces it, but you can't get rid of the people mover.
Never. I would be thrilled to see a Tron roller coaster, and whatever park they choose to put it in, I'm 100% okay with it. But I agree. I don't want to lose that people mover. I don't know that it matters that two roller coasters are going to be next to each other because I think it's at the point where like things going to go where things can fit.
Yeah.
Because if it
Well,
wants to be in that park,
There's also a large amount of land behind and next to Space Mountain, kind of behind the Speedway. And the Speedway, if you look at like an aerial map, is already like a third, if not more, of Tomorrowland. It just doesn't seem like it because it's tucked away in that corner or on the side, but it really is pretty massive. So I think that there's lots of popularity to it, but I don't think it quite reaches the amount of space that it takes up in such a valuable location.
That brings them to the new rumor that's going around too with it, that Speedway will stay, and then it's going to be placed somewhere behind the Speedway, which to me, I drive that way when I'm coming from property to get home. That's where I drive by. To me, they would have to put it on the other side of that road in order to
That would be weird.
really fill enough space. I mean, we're talking a roller coaster, not a small dark ride, like a full-size roller coaster. So while I know there's a lot of room, I don't personally, just driving past, I feel like Speedway has to be a casualty in order to fit something full-size in there. So
Do you think Tron would be better over where Universe of Energy is? Would it fit in better?
I was just thinking maybe it would fit better in Epcot because you could tie it in with like computers because it is about computers, and like it almost seems like it would fit in there, especially if the rumored like thing with Epcot becoming more incorporating movies more in it would make more sense. But I don't know. If it's going to go anywhere in the Magic Kingdom, it's obviously going to go in Tomorrowland.
Yeah,
but
it should go.
But I agree. I for me, I feel like it would fit aesthetically and more appropriately at Epcot.
In Future World, that's what would make the most sense. But that's not what the rumors are right now, I guess.
That's exactly correct. So moving on to the next one, we'll talk about Epcot. We've mentioned it before, but the big one starting off is that people are expecting that we're going to hear about the Ratatouille attraction coming to France. Thoughts, opinions?
It just better not take the movie spot.
I actually completely agree with that.
If they take away
but-
my France movie, I'm going to be mad.
Yeah, right now the speculation is that it will be kind of beside France in the space between there and Morocco.
But they on the left side?
Yeah, which there is space in there. I mean,
I do love that movie. I think it's underrated. I don't think enough people have seen it.
I think
haven't
it's the
seen it.
greatest.
You looked right at me.
It is the greatest
Rhino.
movie in the World Showcase. I know people love Canada because 360 and Martin Short's the host of
But you
it.
have to stand
but
up the whole time.
No, France is beautiful. It makes it like it's the perfect.
I don't like
shots.
the Canada one.
Flying
Welcome
around France.
to France.
And then, great
It's so
narration, great
relaxing.
music.
I
Oh.
know. I love the wedding scene. I don't care if it's from like 1979. I love it.
And that little theater is actually really pretty.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
I would like to see them start like adding stuff that expand. Like, so if Ratatouille comes and it expands France, that's cool because I like the idea that we can still add stuff to add on and not take away from.
Yeah, I
Right.
agree.
So like keep especially with what we discussed in a future minisode you may watch at some point about Norway's the Maelstrom versus Frozen is like it'd be nice if the things that celebrate the heritage and culture of the country that it's there for stay as well as getting the attraction that takes
Yeah.
place over there,
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, France is definitely my favorite pavilion. I mean,
Oh,
I
it's
have
beautiful,
several,
yeah.
but it's my top pavilion. I love the wine shop. I love the patisserie. I love everything about that place.
Booze in your ice cream. God, might have a drinking problem.
I mean, I like
talked about
both
it a lot.
restaurants. I mean, Mr. Paul, I think is a little overrated, but I do like both restaurants.
I just love that when you get in there, it feels very like when you come over the bridge and it's just got like usually the guy's out there with his whistle, poop poop poop, like that's the terrible impersonation of a whistle.
Well, if you're like me and you can't whistle, that's all you can do.
Yeah, but I agree. I think it's a beautiful pavilion, and I would hate to see it like alterations come at the something like that for that detract from.
Yeah, but at the same time too, we talked about it on an upcoming minisode where I could definitely see the benefit of adding a Ratatouille attraction because it's going to bring more people back to France, which it's already very well
It's
traveled
busy back
back
there.
around. It's very busy. But think about how many more people are going to explore more of the France Pavilion and maybe give the movie a chance, talk to some of the cast members and actually learn a little bit about French culture. There could be a lot of benefits by adding a marquee attraction like that in there. So I'm all for it if they want to do it. So do we also think anything about Brazil being added in there? Care one way or the other? Is World Showcase okay
seems-
with
I
the
mean, I'd
countries
rather
they
see a
have?
different country, but
Yeah, I know that sounds terrible, but it is one of those like I get it because we have a massive audience that might enjoy it, but I don't really go to American things when like if I was going to go to another country, I don't think I'd stop at the American stuff. I think
I mean,
would,
I don't stop at the America Pavilion unless I need to go to the bathroom. I mean, because they're nice, but
I mean, I always enjoy the food at the Food and Wine Festival that's from Brazil. So, like, I'm not against the idea of having something that could provide food to me, ever. But I don't know.
I
don't
want an Australian pavilion.
know. I know.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
That's what I want.
Yeah, I mean, for me, that I'm in the same boat. I don't want to say that, Brazil would be a bad thing at all. I think there's a lot to like about the Brazilian culture.
Yes,
especially the food. But I feel like I can find that other places than needing to go to Walt Disney World, where something like Australia, that's not something you just see
Yeah.
Right.
any day of the week. It's but that could also be argued like, well, Canada, all we have to do is drive a couple days up.
Well, I have a question.
Depending on where you're from.
Are there other countries from South America that are represented in the World Showcase? No, right?
No, but I would love to see something too, like Argentina,
Argentina would be cool. Peru.
Venezuela.
Yeah. Something with the jungle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like with the jungle would be cool.
So,
but I mean, I
well,
guess Brazil
Brazil's-
might have a jungle.
it's-
So
Brazil's massive.
Yeah.
But
So-
I'm not against it. I guess it's just it's one of those like a lot of Brazilian people have moved here and set up a lot of very successful businesses
Yes.
around here. So there is a really thriving like Brazilian eateries
Yes, we
locally
could get
around.
Brazilian food here in
Exactly.
Central Florida,
I want
easily.
something like Craig, or like you guys
Yeah.
said, something that isn't common for us to be able to grab somewhere outside of the park. You know.
I think, like we kind of all have mentioned, it's not that Brazil's bad. It's just like there's so many other options that like
Yeah.
I can think off the top of my head that would be cool, like Australia or Greece or
Oh,
Spain.
I was just thinking Greece too.
Yeah.
There's like
Greece. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be a good one.
so.
I wonder if the Brazil Pavilion will have chanting 24/7.
Well, see, like before, I would have loved to had something like South African in there, but then you think, well, Animal Kingdom does a really good job of preserving that African culture as well as Asian too. Maybe Animal Kingdom, the next big thing to come after Pandora's now open, maybe they need South America being added
A Rio de
to
Janeiro.
that style. Yeah, like just a whole a bigger addition than just one small pavilion. But I think it's more food, always great in Epcot. Any thoughts on Guardians? So we've been talking about this one all throughout its lifespan here, starting months and months ago. Do we care anymore?
I mean, what's the rumor? Is it an all new original
It's back
attraction, or is
back
it?
to Universe of Energy.
Yeah, but so it won't be like Mission Breakout. It'll be something completely
No,
redesigned,
it'd be a coaster.
I mean, I like the Guardians of the Galaxy.
I do too.
So I'm not against new things that come in there, and I get that the difficulty here is now you say, well, it changes the story or the meaning of the park and stuff like that, but I don't know. I look for new experiences all the time, and I'm open for them. So
Yeah, I always will defend Universe of Energy. It's a good people eater. So
Well,
when
it's
people
good
give
for
it a
that,
chance,
It's a good ride to nap on, I guess.
no, I agree with Craig. Like I do, there are things about that the attraction I do enjoy. It could use a little bit of a pacing
Yeah. Gotta move a little
overlay,
faster.
but cut the attraction in half.
Because I love Ellen.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean,
here's
Yeah.
the thing: you teach your kids to sit through it and shut up and enjoy it, just like my parents did when I was a kid.
you can take Ferris and Finley on the next time.
I
Then.
will-
Let's
I
see
will.
how that goes.
I will. I will do that. It's a date.
No, they probably would
Dead
really
air.
enjoy it
Sorry.
because I mean, seriously, I think he gets more joy when they see him than when they see me.
Yeah,
Mr. Carson.
Twig.
That's me. Don't wear it out. So we know we're going to find out way more about Star Wars. We know that we're going to find out the Toy Story Land opening time frame.
We
Are
need
there
to go
any,
back-
I want about exclusive merchandise. What do I need to send Corey to get me this year?
I don't pay attention to that.
We need to go back to Epcot because you
Oh.
keep teasing the big
I'm
news
sorry, Kathy. I apologize.
that Figment. We're going to find out most likely what's happening with Figment.
Well, do you think there's going to be like he's being replaced, or is is it a change, or is he being wiped out for something completely?
He's what's the movie with the
Inside Out.
Yeah. And Figment will just have one little like scene in that.
He'll be part of Imagination, I'm hoping.
Yes,
Yeah.
but
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, it makes sense.
it does. But it's like, why didn't they just, make Figment better?
Well, I would agree. Like an overhaul of the attraction that's about Imagination would be fine. I don't know.
They could have, when they started sending out the survey questions, you sort of figured that, that was already on their radar. And with some of the rumors that have come out about it, I'm not looking forward to that announcement.
I'd be really interested to see what the financial numbers are on Figment merchandise, because they've done a great job of representing Figment through merchandise. So clearly they're not just making it to like try to push him. People must have a demand for it. So how are they going to balance that? Will Inside Out sell as much merchandise as a character like Figment? I mean, Inside Out, I think, is an amazing Pixar movie, and definitely one of their best. But I feel like you don't hear people still talking about it a couple years later.
Right.
But yet you still see kids losing their mind over anything Finding Nemo and Finding Dory related. So is Inside Out popular enough to warrant it?
I think for Disney right now, unfortunately, because I love Disney park exclusive stuff like Figment. Like there's no Figment movie or anything like that. But I think from Disney's perspective, unfortunately, I think they think it's probably easier to sell to first-time visitors things that they've seen in the movies or TV shows than a concept and an idea that they've never experienced before, which is sad. But I think from Disney's perspective, it's like, well, if we say that there's a new Inside Out ride, that's going to bring a lot more people to the park than we redid an old attraction that you don't know about because you've never visited Walt Disney World before.
The thing I do like about Inside Out is the talking about feelings. And for kids, when you're learning about yourself and learning how to express all these feelings, I think it could be really, really good if they do it well, to sort of help with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I think it would have a great place over in Wonders of Life. And when they thought that Cranium Command got stale, they could have easily updated it to be Inside Out. But that's a whole other thing. I love it. I would be there day one to experience whatever they do with Inside Out. But
it's your job.
And that's part of that. But I mean, you have to think too. At one point in time, Pirates wasn't a movie franchise and stuff. They got lucky and it turned into something bigger that spawned it, now turning into a whole different beast. You can't ever roll out original creations from becoming something bigger and better. Yeah, Figment has had years to try, but has Disney really, really given it a good effort? Are they lazy?
I just think that they're going to put something in there to sort of, in their mind, solve the problem. That they can get rid of Figment by saying they're putting something else in, and then in a couple years when that doesn't work, it's like that it's going to be another one of those pavilions that closes
slowly
down.
dies. Yeah.
But we will wrap it up and talk about the other coast just real quick, even though that's not what we talk about. Kathy, what were you mentioning with that?
There was a rumor that Bugs Land out in California Adventure is supposed to be going away.
What?
They're going to take away the Heimlich Choo-Choo?
Yeah, that seems weird to me.
It's got to be gone.
My husband's going to chain himself to that little ride.
And Paint the Night is supposed to come to California Adventure.
Well, I can see that.
And they're going to take away the fake, which I didn't realize that they were fake, overhead trolley lines.
I don't get that. But I didn't think they were fake either, to be honest with you, because the trolley comes out and runs along them. So I thought it was like...
Yeah.
But that's I don't get the purpose of that. Just so they can do the parade? I don't know.
I'd like to see it come to Disney. Come here rather than go back to Disneyland.
Yeah, the one I was following a couple people on Twitter last night, big Disney fans and stuff, and they were bringing up points that I think we've all thought about before. Main Street Electrical Parade, while it did have some magic to it here at the Magic Kingdom, it always felt like it was Disneyland's parade. And out at Disneyland, people love it because it fits into that park perfectly. Paint the Night, I felt like, also fit into Disneyland perfectly. As much as I'd love to see it here, I don't know if it could translate as well at Magic Kingdom. And that's what they were bringing up, too.
Okay.
And it was like, yeah, it's nice to hear someone also chiming in that same thoughts. Yeah, I want it, but I want a parade that is meant for our park.
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah,
like what happened
yeah,
with
that would be
Festival of
nice.
Fantasy. Make a parade for our park, and it ends up being something really special. So
That's true.
I would rather see Paint the Night get played over at California Adventure, so that way they can have both nighttime
Yeah,
parades,
we need something new.
alleviate stress, give us something new.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
so-
works.
That does work, and so we will find out more this coming Saturday. Well, I guess once it opens up, we'll start hearing tidbits dropped around, see the Star Wars pavilion that they're setting up, and other really cool things out there. And yeah, Saturday's the big day during the Parks and Resorts panel. We'll be there covering it, have great video and lots of breaking news coming from it, so make sure you are following along with us again. But we have to leave in a plane in like
Yeah, hurry up.
way too shortly from now. So we're gonna wrap this up and say that is it for this episode. So yeah, thank you all for watching and listening. Rhino, if you will cue the music here, I
pushed it.
I can start to wrap up and say thanks for watching again, and we'll see you next time.